Welcome, fifth graders, to lesson 5-1/5-2. We're just combining these questions, these two lessons, just because it's going to give us a little bit more. It'll help us catch up to the rest of the fifth grade. And quite honestly, we don't need two different lessons for these. They can be combined. So we actually have two questions today. And our first one is, what is a fraction? And that's one of those things that hopefully you know, but we will be addressing in today's videos. And then our second one is, how do we use fraction bars to compare fractions? And that's kind of what we'll be working with today. Now, the first two videos will deal with lesson 5-1, and that's we're going to talk about fractions. And then the second two videos are going to deal with lesson 5-2, and that's where we're going to be using that fraction bar. And that's what the handout today is. So it's just a ginormous fraction bar sheet. So we'll be using that. So one thing I want you to do, make sure of, is when you're using the fraction bar and taping that into or gluing that into your notebook, make sure that you can use it for both video 3 and video 4, because we're going to be referring to it for both of those videos. Alright, so let's start with today. And today we're going to start off with some vocabulary. Okay, words that we need to know. Vocabulary, there we go. And the first we're going to need to know numerator. We're going to need to know denominator. We're going to need to know what is a unit fraction, and then what is a non-unit fraction. And those are all things that we will talk about, and we will hopefully get to throughout in today's lesson. If not, remind me tomorrow and I will explain those. Okay, so let's start off with a drawing. Let's make a drawing. And this drawing is just going to be 1 by, let's go with 12. So 1, that's 4, 8, 12. And let's pretend that's perfect there, just because we need it to be perfect. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut this in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this part here, the part I am shading in red, is 1/2. And that is the same as 1/2. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is a unit fraction. This is a unit fraction, meaning there's just 1/2. I'm going to make another drawing here. And essentially, and this is why I want the graph paper here, so you can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and draw a line. 1, 2, 3, 4 and draw a line. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. This one I'm going to color blue. And this is, if we look at it, this is 1/3, because this is 1/3 and this is 1/3. Because I took one thing, took one shape, and I broke it into 3 even parts. And that's the secret with fractions, boys and girls, is that it's got to be broken into even parts. So this is 1/3. So if I have this shape right here, boys and girls, and I break it here, and then I break it here, this is not, and I color in this part here, this is not 1/3, because these are not even pieces. So this is not, let's go red so you can see, this is not a fraction. We'll draw one more here. And again, these are unit fractions, and we know they're unit fractions because the top number is 1. And I'm going to go every 3 here, and color here. This would be 1/4, or 1/4. And each one of these, boys and girls, this is 1/4, this is 1/4, and this is 1/4. So let's look at a couple of shapes here. I'm just going to draw, let's pretend that I'm drawing things on the line here. And let's just go. So my question for you then becomes, how much have I shaded in here? How much of this is shaded? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total pieces. Okay, and that's going to be our denominator. That's the number of pieces we've cut something into. And then how many are blue? Well, we have 1, 2. So this fraction is 2/5. If I were to draw this right here, and let's color one of them purple, what fraction of the squares are colored purple? Well, how many total squares are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, so that would be 4. And how many are purple? Well, just 1, 1/4. Now, this again is a unit fraction. This is a non-unit because it is more than 1. Let's look at one more example here. I'm going to try and draw this here. Now, let's pretend that that's a perfect circle here. And let's pretend that these are all evenly spaced. Let's color in a chunk of this. So my question is, what part of the circle is colored in yellow? Well, the first thing we have to do is figure out how many pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our denominator, or bottom number, is 5. And then our numerator, or top number, would be the number that are colored in yellow, which would just be 1. So 1 out of 5, and that's really difficult to see, so let's switch that up. 1 out of 5 are yellow. All right, that's video 1. Video 2, we're going to talk about non-unit fractions, which we've kind of gave you a little hint right here, but that's what video 2 will focus on.